Anthony Mangnall.
Thank you, Sir George. And can I start by congratulating the Honourable Member for East Devon. He has led the charge for Devon MPs on this issue, both with South West Water, with ministers in raising this matter in the House of Commons and ensuring that we have been up to date in terms of our information and our knowledge about what is going on and what needs to be done to address this issue. Sir George, I start in this debate from a position that so many of us share across the South West and indeed the whole country, which is that we suffer under an antiquated Victorian-era system that needs to be modernised and improved quickly. And we need to encourage our water companies not just to offer us words and reports, but meaningful action on the ground. And so it's with huge disappointment to follow the honourable gentleman who spoke before me, where he doesn't offer a single suggestion as to what water companies can actually do. And I hope within the course of my remarks, no, he's had his chance to give his speech, I hope within the course of my remarks I might just point out some of the flaws, but also the things that we expect water companies to be doing in our constituencies. And it's from this debate, Sir George, that I hope that South West Water and all other water companies will be listening, because today is where we can set the standards. Today is where we can set the knowledge of what is being done across this country and to ensure that it is in place and that the fines and the action is taking place. So where is South West Water to date? It's absolutely right that South West Water has met their mains repairs and unplanned outage performance commitment levels. It's absolutely brilliant to hear that they were the top performer for internal sewer flooding performance. And it's quite welcome to hear that their sewer collapse performance and prevention was better than their commitment. These are all welcome steps, Sir George. But of course, it's not just about recognising successes. It's about seeing the failures, talking about them, and seeking to see how we can address them. And it's absolutely right that we talk about those failures today. So the first failure is around water supply interruption performance, which were not met. South West Water didn't meet the deadband score for the Compliance Risk Index, which measures the risk of companies not meeting the requirement of drinking water quality regulations. And perhaps most egregious of all, Sir George, South West Water's pollution incidence performance was the second poorest in the country. South West Water has a customer satisfaction that is 78.4% poorer than the median of other water companies. It is ranked with 1 star. And if we are concerned by the actions that the company is taking, we should also be concerned about how they are viewed by the public. We must ensure that there is an improvement of confidence in water companies to be able to address this issue, to be able to tackle it with meaningful results, to ensure that we can actually see our water systems improved, our waterways cleaner, our monitoring enhanced, and meaningful action from ground up to see that wildlife, biodiversity is all enhanced. Now, I should say, from the email that we received from South West Water, which by all means is not the only source of information that members of Parliament were sent ahead of this debate, in fact there was a great deal more, we should reflect on the fact that South West Water has delivered on 80% of its 44 operational delivery metrics. It is looking now towards 100% monitoring, but where it talks about bathing water status, Sir George, it doesn't necessarily go far enough with our rivers. It talks far more about our beaches and keeping our beaches clean, where many of us who are wild water swimmers, such as myself, like to swim in rivers all year round. We are deeply concerned about the monitoring systems that are in place. South West Water has invested billions of pounds over the last 2 decades to protect and enhance the rivers and coastal waters of the region. But the problem is, Sir George, people don't recognise it. People don't see it, people don't know it, and too often they don't feel it. And it's one of the reasons within my own constituency of South Devon I am taking matters into my own hand. Not only have I been meeting with representatives of South West Water and had conversations with them about their new Water Fit programme that is due to go live in the coming weeks, a new website that is specifically designed to give up-to-date, real-time information to members of the public that is understandable and digestible about the quality of our water. I will be getting South West Water representatives to come to Brixham on the 30th of March and to Totnes on the 27th of April to discuss their plans to ensure that action is being taken and that people can have some confidence and understanding about what needs to be done. It's already clear that a pollution incident reduction plan is working in respective constituencies across the southwest, but we have to be able to show that the downward trend of pollution is increasing. Now, my honourable friend from East Devon was right to say that last year was a dry year, and therefore we must take the data that we are presented with a pinch of salt. But let's use this opportunity to see if we can speed up the way in which our water companies deliver their projects. And I have 3 suggestions as to where we might go, Sir George. The first is where we're building. Across the southwest, we know there is a shortage of houses, and we know that there are a huge amount of development projects going across our countryside and rural areas attached to our towns. But all too often, we are building staggering amounts of houses where we are not taking into account the infrastructure. And when the infrastructure isn't taken into account, we find hundreds of new homes flooding our sewage networks, ensuring that they can no longer cope and polluting our waterways and our beaches as a result. It must be a standalone policy that for any development plan to go forward, the infrastructure must already be in place rather than leaving it to chance. Secondly, in regards to Ofwat, it's absolutely right that Ofwat should be able to issue sizable fines, but all too often the fines take too long to be able to implement, and then there is a certain level of opaqueness as to where those fines end up. It must be clear and certain that those fines from water companies are put back into ensuring that waterways, beaches, coastlines are cleaned, and that the fines process can happen in a quick and speedy manner. Yeah.
I thank the honourable member for giving way. He suggests that there should be some solutions offered from this side of the House, and I will give him one. Scrapping Ofwat. It's found to be a completely toothless regulator, and it's a toothless regulator that this government has permitted to be toothless. And I think on that, his advice should be to the government instead that they need to get a regulator that has some teeth.
If the honourable, there was no question there, and if the honourable gentleman can't be bothered to put that in his speech, that's hardly my problem. So I might just make the point, let's use the body that we have there in place. Let us ensure that we are actually leading to meaningful action on this, and that is what can happen. If you can issue the fines that we want to see water companies pay for failure of duty, then we can restore confidence in that network by seeing that money go back into the system. We need the regulator to be enforced with teeth for meaningful action. Scrapping it and then looking for a replacement, which is inevitably what will happen, will not lead to any better levels of responsibility from water companies. In my own constituency, Sir George, I've seen £5.3 million invested in our waterways. It's absolutely clear that more money is going to be needed invested. We do need to ensure that monitoring is 100% all year round, and that we can keep an eye on that. For some of us, we swim all year round, so therefore we want to see that the monitoring is there. And across my area, I'm acutely aware, from the Friends of the River Dark groups to those who are on our beaches, to Surfers Against Sewage, about their campaigns to ensure that bathing water status is protected. This is an important issue in which the government has taken meaningful action. We must be clear about the progress that we have made to date. We must be clear about the fact that we cannot click our fingers and ensure that things happen immediately, because this takes time. If we click our fingers and say to a water company that they must do everything immediately, not only is it impossible to happen, but it also leads to serious implications to the existing network as it stands, with flow back to people's houses. And so we must be clear about that the steps that we have set to 2030, to 2035 and to 2050 are the right steps that are measurable, with absolute report indicators to come back to government and to justify their actions. And that through these mechanisms, we can hold water companies to account to ensure they are delivering on time, at price, at speed, that they are not pushing it back to consumers. We all want to protect our coastlines, which is why through the Environment Act, the Agriculture Act and the Fisheries Act, each of these acts have got pieces of legislation that are enforceable to ensure that we are looking after our waterways, enhancing biodiversity and keeping this a green and pleasant land to live upon. Thank you, Sir George.